Welcome to today's episode, everyone. We've got two very exciting guests for you guys. Here with me, I have Chris and I have Benjamin with Saberin Software, and really, the founders of Audition AI. And so really what we want to cover on this podcast today is the fact that lots of companies are, they're banning ChatGPT, and really, they think a safer option for that is Microsoft Copilot. And so maybe it's best for us just to start off with, with you, Chris, because I know you are head of sales and you are speaking to a lot of these companies, on the front lines. What is really behind that? Like, what are you hearing and I guess seeing on some of these calls?
Yeah, thanks, Tyson. It's really interesting. So yeah, companies are banning the commercial AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude,
Yeah.
and Gen AI has become table stakes. So they have to give someone a solution, and it
Mhm.
seems very natural to choose Microsoft Copilot as
Right.
that enterprise AI solution. But the funny thing that's happening is employees are still using ChatGPT on their
Mm.
phones. They're signing up for a personal account, they're using their personal iPhone, and they're
Mhm.
doing actual work with ChatGPT. And
Okay.
that's fascinating because there's a company policy that says you're not allowed to do this.
Right.
And for the most part, employees follow company rules, but there's something so powerful that's happening that they're choosing to disobey,
Yeah.
not use Copilot, and continue to use ChatGPT. And it's an interesting conversation. And I would say that's really what we're trying to solve with
Yeah.
Audition AI is to provide a secure enterprise AI solution that people actually use.
Right. I appreciate you sharing the insights kind of as to why, maybe that's happening as well, or really what that looks like. And, another question I had, and maybe, this can be for you as well, Benjamin, is why do you think that, banning ChatGPT doesn't really, fix anything? Like what's really going on behind that ban with ChatGPT? Why do you think that is?
So why is the reason that companies are actually doing a ban of ChatGPT?
Yeah.
That part's actually pretty easy to explain. So if you just do a quick ChatGPT or Perplexity or Google search
Mhm.
on companies that are banning ChatGPT, it boils down to two things. Number one is data privacy. So companies don't want to feed their intellectual property, especially property that is protected by some sort of a regulation like HIPAA data or financial data or something like that. They don't want to feed that into a consumer grade AI cloud. I mean, that's a concern. It's just part of their data protection policy.
Yeah.
So data protection policy and then privacy and compliance, those two things go together as well. But companies, especially enterprise companies that value their own data, always put rules in place to protect the data that drives that company.
100%. And I appreciate that as well. So obviously, we talked about that, these companies, they're giving employees Copilot. And, I guess my next question really is why do you think that, that doesn't really solve, the problem?
Um, that one's really interesting. Prior to ChatGPT coming out in November of 2022, the fastest adoption technology that's ever happened in the history of mankind was Instagram. But ChatGPT blew those numbers out of the way. In the first 30, 45 days, they brought on about 100 million users. And
Wow.
today, about a billion people use ChatGPT every day. Like
Mhm.
imagine that 10% of the global population is on ChatGPT every day.
Wow.
Um, I don't know exactly what they've done right. I know they put a lot of work into it. It's a beautiful interface. It's simple. It's intuitive.
Yeah.
It just works for people. What we do know is that people want to use it. People want to use the ChatGPT experience.
Right. 100%. And I'm sure of those numbers as well, like Chris mentioned, employees at these organizations are still using ChatGPT just through their personal devices and with personal accounts as well, kind of without the companies knowing. And so, what are employees really doing behind the scenes to keep using ChatGPT anyways? I know we kind of talked about, they're using their own personal accounts, but where does that, I guess, cause friction with, some of these organizations?
Well, the first thing that's interesting is if you just look on websites like Reddit,
Yeah.
if you look at organizations that are well known, like I don't know, Verizon and Walmart and whatnot. The Reddit threads there are not, this is why we're protecting company data. It's employees at those organizations helping each other figure out how to get around the rules, which especially the larger your organization grows becomes a problem. The term shadow IT is just a term coined by IT professionals for anything that a user needs that their organization is not giving to them, that the user goes out and gets on their own. And it's, in my experience, probably this new generative AI thing is the biggest shadow IT epidemic since probably the iPhone 1. Like when the iPhone 1 came out, people would buy it and put their company email on it. There was no encryption, there was no nothing. And people just started using the iPhone 1 because they wanted that experience. People want that experience from ChatGPT. And the app makes it really simple. You just take a picture or turn on video or have a verbal conversation. There's no barrier. You just take a picture of your company data and ChatGPT can give you really valuable feedback based on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's scary to really think about. I mean, and obviously you mentioned like why this is really a problem, but maybe if we really focus on leadership, why would you say that this is a big deal for leadership? Like what's actually at risk for some of these organizations?
Sure. So for about 20 years, my team has been building data automation and reporting technology inside regulated industries. So we work with a lot of really important client data, and fundamental to what we do is to put rules in place and procedures where we protect our client data. It's the most important thing to us. So when ChatGPT came out in November 2022, we are forward-thinking technology people. My people discovered this tool and we started using it, but really carefully. Our data protection policies say we can't put our intellectual property into a cloud provider, even if it's an awesome conversational AI tool. So the first thing that we did is on our team, we came out with rules on how do we use this safely, which included things like if you're going to craft an email, you have to take out the client name and any client data and all of that. And it became really cumbersome for us trying to obfuscate or protect the data that we were putting into ChatGPT. And that really is where we decided as a team to build our own platform so that we didn't have to do that. So we built our own version of ChatGPT for our team in January of 2023, a couple of months after ChatGPT came out.
Yeah, 100%. That's really awesome. So it sounds like obviously these security issues are really a factor in these regulated industries, kind of like you mentioned as well. So your experience of making the ChatGPT used within your own organization more secure, you've been able to kind of apply a lot of those same principles and processes to what you guys are doing for your clients. And really, that leads me to my next question is, how does Audition AI really solve for all of this? And really more specifically, what's different about your guys's approach to AI and how some of the companies are able to leverage it?
Sure. I think the thing that differentiates us above any of the other solutions that we've been able to find is that our solution runs entirely in the client's cloud. So it's a bring your own cloud solution. So we built the application and the whole framework for how the AI is going to interact with your data, but we deploy that into your cloud so that the data never leaves your control. So we allow each of our clients to control the data, how it interacts with the AI, how it interacts with the rest of their data in the same way, with the same vigilance that they control any of the rest of the data in their organization, allowing them to implement their data security and privacy policies right on top of Audition.
Yeah, no, that is so awesome. So it really sounds like the data, it still is theirs, and like they're actually able to use it within their own cloud platforms, as well. And so you mentioned that you guys, you rolled this out, a while back. Really, I'm curious, do you guys have any new initiatives on the horizon, like with Audition AI and some of the stuff you guys are working on?
Oh, there's
Sure.
so much. I mean, I'll start by saying, are you familiar with the term RAG, Retrieval-Augmented Generation?
I'm not.
Well, it's essentially connecting your company data to the AI to actually do things. So really, you can think of Audition AI as a toolbox that we're always adding new tools to.
Okay.
that connects with the software that you use every day, and of course, the company data that you work with, all in a very secure manner.
Oh, wow.
And once you have an understanding of that, there's so many new things that are being introduced, to the marketplace, that really just amplify RAG.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's very intriguing. And so this is, your guys' toolbox, you're essentially always updating. Is that right?
We release at least one major new feature every week.
Oh, wow. I don't want you guys to give away too much secret sauce, but could you maybe, reveal like one new feature that you guys have released recently that has really, helped your clients?
God, there's so many to choose from. What do you think, Ben?
I think multi-agent. I think multi-agent is a big one, and especially that combined with other technologies. So in AI, I think the next thing that's coming is agentic, like allowing, or it's really here, but allowing the AI to actually perform real tasks. And letting it do that means giving it more power to do things. So we released a feature recently that allows the AI to basically create its own application. So you can talk to the AI and say, I need to make an app that does this thing. And it has all the power to create its own application.
Yeah.
So
that's super awesome.
I use my first one to iterate through my emails and help me find, things that I've dropped the ball on. So it just goes through all of my email and builds a list of rules on doing that. But it really could be anything. So anything you can imagine, and it remembers from session to session.
Yeah.
I would say that, kind of in more layman's terms, is every SaaS company that's out there, there's essentially an AI agent that does the exact same thing.
Oh, wow.
It's really powerful stuff.
Yeah. That's super awesome. Maybe, if there is anybody that, they might want to connect with you both, or maybe they want to just learn a little bit more about Audition AI, really outside of the website, is there anywhere that they can go to see like some of these new updates and some of the really great things you guys are working on?
Yeah, you can follow us on LinkedIn and X. We're pretty prolific on posting daily,
Nice.
building in public, and yeah, good accounts to follow.
I love it. And I'll be sure to include, your LinkedIn profiles, your guys' website in the description of this YouTube video. I highly recommend that you guys do go check out, their company and all the awesome things that they're working on. But really, is there anything else that you guys wanted to add on really the AI front and like your guys' vision kind of going forward?
I would selfishly say anyone that comes across this podcast that's using ChatGPT on their phone for work, because your company banned it, go to your CTO, your COO, tell them to take a look at Audition AI,
Yeah.
audition-ai.com, and it's worth a 15-minute discovery call.
Sure. Yeah. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
We work really hard to make Audition feel as comfortable to use as ChatGPT or Claude or whatever else you're using.
Yeah. No, I love that. So what you're saying there is that your guys' user interface is very user friendly, and it's something that's easier to use maybe than, some would say like a co-pilot model.
Honestly, you can't really tell the difference between the ChatGPT interface and the Audition AI interface.
Oh, nice.
Like it just works. And I don't know if you know this, but like Microsoft was the largest investor in OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT.
Oh, wow.
And out of that agreement was any model that OpenAI develops, they got to make available to Microsoft.
Yeah.
And OpenAI itself runs on Microsoft Azure. So really, the outputs and the experience is the same. At the end of the day, Saberin Data Platform, we're a team of software developers that is taking advantage of Microsoft Azure's tech stack and Azure OpenAI.
Nice.
So it's not necessarily that we're building new models. We're not. We're using ChatGPT's models, but what we're building is all of these tools and connectors and integrators that work with these models. So it's really incredible stuff.
Awesome. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that, Benjamin, or did Chris pretty much cover it?
I think the biggest challenge for us is that the world is moving so fast with these things, but inside of Audition, you have access to the latest and greatest. So you have access to GPT 4.1 and the latest image generation models. Like all of the various things that come out on OpenAI are available in Audition AI really quickly, like within weeks of these things coming out in ChatGPT. And in some cases, like with GPT 4.1, they're in Audition faster.
Oh, wow. Super, super interesting. Yeah, I think it's definitely worth at least a 15-minute conversation for anybody that might be interested in Audition AI and all the stuff that you guys are rolling out. It sounds like you guys are really, growing as a company and staying on top of all the trends that are going on in the AI space, which I know has to be a bit tough because everything's moving so fast.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Who needs sleep?
I assume you guys have a really talented team of software developers.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's awesome, guys. And really, I guess, other than that, I really appreciate your guys' time and really your insights today. And I'm hoping that anybody that watches this podcast, they do go and check out Audition AI and at least have a conversation to see how they best could leverage the AI. So
Awesome. Well, thanks for being such a good host.
I like coming on, guys. Yeah. And other than that, we will catch you guys in the next video.